Welcome. In front of me is an iPhone 17e, and today I will show you how you can go through the setup process of this device. So, when you boot up for the very first time, you should be presented with the same screen that you can see on my end, which just tells you hello in all kinds of different languages. Now to get started, we're just going to swipe up, like so, and then find our desired language from the list. Now for me that will be English. Next, choose your region. Now I'll be selecting Poland, which is where I'm from. Let's just flip down. There we go. And there we go, Poland. Now I'm selecting Poland for a particularly maybe a different reason than just because I'm from here. And to put that like actual terms, I'm doing this with a small hope that by choosing some kind of region that is part of European Union, when EU creates some kind of a law that is favorable to the consumer, which is usually what they try to do, and a company needs to comply with these laws, I would be basically included in them just because I'm from here, or because I selected the specific region, right? So that's kind of what I'm going about. I have this idea that, for instance, when a company is forced to comply with some laws that aren't favorable to them, they will either just straight up pull out of this specific region, or they will just change the law if it's very unfavorable to them in that specific region and nowhere else. So by selecting that region, I would hope that I could be included in that. In any case, next thing in here is the appearance, or basically just the size of everything. So you can see you can increase and decrease the size of the toggles, notifications, and so on. I'm going to keep it at the default, which is medium, but it's up to you. Next, we have quick setup iPhone. So this will be looking for another device somewhere here. I'm not going to be bothering with this, so I'm just going to continue on normally. But if you have an iPhone or other device, sorry, I needed to sneeze, so anyway. So if you have other device, I could do that quick setup right here. I'm just not going to bother with it, so let's continue on. And we're going to set up without another device. And this then presents me with the option to connect to network. Now, I'm saying option. It's not really an option right here. This setup isn't done for you. This setup is done for Apple. So if Apple wants you to connect to network, you're surely going to do this because it's not like they give you a choice. So let me connect to mine, because I love when the setup is not really allowing me to set up the device the way I would want to. Here you go, Apple, up yours. Now it's gonna start to do something, so give it a moment. This is unavailable. And we have software updates, so we can update now or update later. It's up to you if you want to do this. For the purpose of trying to finish this quicker, I'm going to do this later. Next, we have data and privacy. So you can read what you are agreeing to, and you can also click on learn more. And from there, we're going to select continue. Age range. Now, if I'm correct, this is just the mandatory, at least for certain states nowadays, and crap, that you need to select your age range, because companies now apparently need to track this bullshit. It's honestly, the idea here is to protect the children. Let's be honest, it's not to protect children, it's to basically gain more info about everyone, and it's just disgusting, so I hate it. I'm gonna select the oldest one right here, not because I'm under that, just because I want to screw with the statistics. And I would recommend doing the same thing. It's not like you're legally obligated, at least not yet, legally obligated to select correct answer, because that's how much, protected children protects the children. Anyway, next we have Face ID. So this is completely up to you if you want to set it up or not. Probably you do, as there is no fingerprint in here, so you would be able to add a face recognition so you can unlock your device easily using that. I'm actually not going to be setting it up, so I'm going to select set up later, but you can add right now a PIN to your device. Now we have option either between a 6-digit PIN or 4-digit PIN, or alphabetical password, or just not using it at all. I generally wouldn't recommend not using it at all, as your phone will hold a lot of your personal information, so not having it protected is not that great of an idea. So for that purpose, I'm going to select a not 4-digit code. There we go. Now, Apple is one of those that kind of gets in your business, telling you, whoa, this is too easy. It's none of your fucking business what I set up as my pattern. Piss off. Or PIN, sorry. So know your place. Shouldn't even be checking this. So I'm going to select use anyway, because I like it simple. Now we just need to repeat it, and now it's set. There we go. Next we have transfer your apps and data. Now this can be done through several different methods depending on how you created a backup, if you created a backup. So in this case, you can do a cloud restoration if you have a cloud backup of your device, which, to be fair, you probably do. That's, I would say the majority of the people will fall under that, creating a cloud backup. We have also the option to transfer data from another iPhone. If you have one that you're already using, your old one, you could just pair them, and then it would allow you to transfer over this data quite quickly. Another one would be through a PC or Mac. That would be through the use of Apple Devices program that you now need to use to create backups. So it would require you to have a backup done manually by you on your computer through the Apple Devices. And if you have plugged in your phone to your computer before but never downloaded Apple Devices, you probably don't have this backup. Though keep in mind, this applies to Windows. Mac users actually have everything kind of baked into their system, so that's possibly done, though I think on Macs it would automatically be done to the cloud even when you plug it in. I think it's a separate kind of choice that you need to change for it to be done to your device instead. And last thing that you can do is transfer data from a Android. Now this would, I believe, require you to download some kind of application, which you would be notified what you need to do exactly to get this going. Now I'm not going to be going through any of the restorations. I'm just going to be setting it up as new, no data moved. So I'm going to select don't transfer anything. And we can now move on. Now here we have Apple account. So we can sign into it. If you have one, you most likely will want to sign into it as your Apple account or iCloud account, depending how you want to call it, is going to be used for instance, well, number one, restoration of data. Number two, the ability for you to download applications from the App Store, and using things like iCloud and for instance, iMessages and so on. So you most likely will want to set this up, but for the setup purposes, you don't need to. You can click right here at the very bottom where it says other sign-in options. Oh, no, sorry, not here. It's going to be here. Forgot password or don't have an account. That's where it's hidden. And we can now set it up later in settings. Or you can obviously create new ones as well if you want to. But anyway, I'm going to just don't use. Now, here we have terms and conditions. So you can read them, and obviously, if you want to read them. But if you're like everyone else, you're probably just going to select agree and continue, which is what I'm going to go. But just know that you can go into it and read exactly what you're agreeing to. Update your iPhone automatically, just an optional. If you want to, you can select continue. This will be updating your device automatically, or you can completely disregard it and select only download automatically. So it's not going to be updating it, but it's going to download it automatically without, well, your permission in a way. So there we go. Next we have the iMessages and FaceTime. So I think if you select continue, you would need to sign in to your iCloud again, but I'm going to select not now. Location services, it's up to you if you want to use them or not. So I'm going to select setup later. Okay. Now next we have set up eSIM. So we can add here a eSIM card, if you want to call it even a card, I'm not sure. And for this you do need internet connection, which we do have, as Apple just kind of forces this on you. So you can do that. You can just click on scan QR code, or you can pop in a physical card, assuming your device does have the option to add a physical card. As far as I know, some Apple devices in the US don't. So every phone from Apple, at least in Europe where I'm from, does allow me to add a physical card. So that would be right here on the side. Now I'm not going to be adding eSIM, so I'm just going to set it up later, which you can do so by going into the settings and I think mobile network, and then add an eSIM in there. Next we have screen time. So this just kind of gives you reports of your usage. It's up to you if you want to use it or not. I'm going to just select continue right here. iPhone analytics, again, just tries to, I mean, this one is a little bit, I would say don't share, as what it does is just tries to, or maybe not tries to, but shares your data on how you use the device and other kind of just general usage of your device, which I'm not necessarily sure to what extent it's getting this information, but in any case, I have the approach that if you bought this device and it's already overpriced, let's be honest, then there is no reason for you to need to share your data. If Apple wants to improve their products, it's in their best interest to do it without needing your freaking data. And if they want your data, they should either lower the price of the device to do so, as it's basically subsidizing the price of it with your personal information, or they can pay you for this data, like everyone else does. But because Apple is not doing either one of those, I'm going to select don't share, and I recommend doing the same thing. Like I said, it's in Apple's interest to improve their product, and if they don't, they fall behind, which they kind of already did. But anyway, that's one thing, and if they're not going to be improving it, you're not probably going to be wanting to buy their new devices. So it's in their interest to do so. And if they want to do so with your data, they surely should be paying you for that data. Now next we have light and dark display, or basically themes. You want to use dark mode or light mode, it's up to you. Auto will switch between them automatically. So anyway, let's continue. And Apple Intelligence. Now that's kind of rich considering Apple doesn't use their own intelligence. They use Gemini, I think. So it should be Gemini Intelligence in this case. Anyway, yeah, we can just continue. Visual Intelligence. Wow. I think this is basically the equivalent of Circle to Search on Android, if you ever used that. So it just allows you to kind of click it, see what's on the screen, and give you some kind of insight, allow you to quickly search and so on. Anyway, just to continue, so just an info about it. Next, we have the action button. So here you can actually assign different functions to it. By default, it acts as a silent mode. If we select continue, you can choose also do not disturb mode, camera, visual intelligence, which honestly, if you're planning to use visual intelligence, if it's what I think it is, this actually could be potentially a nice kind of option that would let you quickly launch it without needing to, go into your control center and so on. Next, we have flashlight, which I personally also really like. Flashlight is pretty damn good as a quick button. We have voice memo, Shazam, translate, magnifier, and then in this very scummy, cunty way that Apple does things, you can see these are relatively visible. Like if I swipe them through, you can see these. Now, at a certain point, the next option, there is an option visible right there. You can barely see it right here. Shortcut. Now, I'm not sure why Apple has this cunt way of trying to hide this option from you and make it super freaking faint. And there's another one right here, which again, on camera, I can barely freaking see it. And that is accessibility. God forbid you ever needed to change accessibility if you're visually impaired or anything like that. Apple considers, which is moronic, that visually impaired people can see clearly enough to see this freaking button that is barely visible. Congratulations, Apple. You're a bunch of fucking dumbasses. Anyway, we're going to continue on with what I found to be probably one of the nicer options, which is this one, assuming it works like I think it does. So, next, we have Emergency SOS. So if you press and hold both, we have volume buttons and I think power button, you basically enter emergency call. You also have crash detections right here. So if you crash, which I think it's just kind of used by the phone's sensors, like gyroscopes and other things, and also the speed that you're traveling, as well as abrupt reductions of speed, it would automatically enter crash mode and just kind of send a notification or call emergency or anything like that. And next we have in selected countries, Emergency SOS via satellite. Now, again, that's just in specific regions, so it's not everywhere. But it's a pretty damn nice option if, for instance, you're hiking, you don't have reception, it would use satellite instead. So, anyway, let's move on. And this is basically the setup of the device. So, anyway, if you found this very helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.